Hello Internet, this is BoneCarlos coming to you live from Icarus. Definitely not a ladder map as you can see, since both players are, well actually one of the players isn't using the traditional red and blue. The players today are going to be xDnDx spawning as the orange Protoss. The opponent is going to be Cryptys spawning as the blue Terran. And speaking of Icarus, like I said, very interesting map, seeing as how there really isn't a natural expansion at the front of your base. There is one at the back behind destructible rocks, and there are two high yield mineral patches, or rich mineral fields as the game likes to call them. So interesting map there. Like I said, no natural forward expansion, and very interesting paths that you could take to your opponent's base. There is a Zelnaga tower in the middle, and really looks like a big map, but still interesting short rush times between the two. Now both these players are decently high level. I know Cryptys is at a gold level play while xDnD is at a diamond, so a little bit of a disparity in both of these guys' play, but hopefully we see some interesting tech or interesting shenanigans going out of these two. Now, as always, League isn't an indicator of actual skill. Sometimes, you know, things come and go. But, and I could be wrong. Maybe Cryptys is in Grandmaster and xDnD is really in Bronze. Who knows? That's just what the webpage told me. And looks like both of these players, looking at the APM tab, we see xDnD spouting a 312 APM average. Now, I do not think looks like this isn't going to be without spam, or this is actually going to be with spam, since 315 average, that's pretty much pro level play in the Wings of Liberty StarCraft 2 campaign. He's just going to go ahead and scouting around his map, checking to make sure what's going on exactly. Sees no refineries at the Vespin geysers, sees a single barrack, so automatically he's going to go ahead and assume that there is going to be a quick expand coming out of his Terran opponent. While in xDnD's base, we see a regular old-fashioned build coming out of the Protoss player. We see Cybernetics Core, single assimilator, single zealot coming in. So really the world is his oyster at this point concerning build orders anyway, where he can just go in to go ahead into 2-gate robo, go ahead into good old-fashioned 4-gate, a quick expand off of this. SCV is scattering around to make sure you see exactly what's going on. Chrono boost going down on those probes, so that's already a couple of chrono boosts, I do believe, on those probes, so that's a good indicator of where he's going to go, and more than likely definitely not going to go for a 4-gate, really, because at this point you want to have full energy on that next side as the Zealot is going to go ahead and try to chase away this SCV. So really I expect xDnD to go into a more macro style play, maybe a little bit more passive, getting up that early expansion, since he expects his opponent to do the same. Already this SCV taking home the gold as soon as he's finished with that expansion, and it looks like one, maybe two barracks. There it goes, 2 barracks going down by Cryptys, so 3 barracks, no refinery just yet, so pure marine play gonna go down. This single SCV will maybe go down, and it looks like it will get away. The pathing on that stalker got in the way of that ramp. And speaking of this ramp, it's a little bit of an extra wide ramp for your main base, so it's going to take a sentry to put down 2 force fields to block this off effectively, as long as they're perfect, or, you know, 2 sentries putting down a force field each. You do the math, you guys figure it out. Warp gate down to about 50%. Looks like no chrono boost on that just yet. Oh, looks like 100 energy is going to be gone up on that Nexi, and this stock is going to go ahead and chase away these Marines. They're going to go ahead and go behind that supply depot, and once the supply depot is back there, you just raise, and these Marines could go ahead and whittle away at whatever is attacking them. If this had a 2 stalkers, if DnD had 2 stalkers, I would go ahead and charge up that ramp, have that Zealot tank a couple of rounds of fire from these Marines, and those 2 Zealots could have actually taken them out in pretty much ad nauseum at his will. But right now we see a tech lab going down. Finally those refineries are down, tech lab, reactor, and tech lab, so a bio play heavy on the Marauder, I would say, coming out of xDnD robotics facility, warping in for him, and 3 gates, so 3-gate robo. Looks like that next site is already up, and deciding not to make use of these rich mineral fields just yet, putting on a pylon in the view of these destructible rocks. And it looks like Cryptys is actually doing the same. So both these players are actually, given that, you know, the APM is generally about 167 for Cryptys, I would say the gold league is not really where he should belong. He should be at least in the Platinum League. Since he's just keeping up with D&D on most aspects of the game. The harvester count is about the same, equal, but with the power of those OP mules, I am not biased in any shape, way, or form. Income is generally around the same. Observers are gonna go ahead and comment out while a scan is revealing that expansion is already underway and is getting saturated by both players. So income wise, equal. Factory being put down. Tech wise, going to be equal in a few seconds, and looks like D&D is gonna go straight into the robotics bay. Gonna go ahead and start churning out the Colossi as soon as possible. Food count 55, 56 now out of 60, 55 out of 78. Wow, both these players are just evenly played. They're going to go ahead and let each other go into the tech path that they choose, and engineering bay 50% done, so the upgrade advantage will definitely be in Cryptys' side if he just starts turning out those upgrades as soon as they are available. Stargate being built, reactor on this factory. I expect a swap and a good old bio ball going to go ahead and churn out by these Terran forces. Wow, looks like it's going to be Colossi with some infantry backup out of D&D. Heavy on the sentry, very heavy on the sentry. This is already up to 500 gas. The robotics blade finishes up. He does have enough for that extended thermal lance as soon as it pops to see if he uses that or it goes straight for the Colossus. Decides to go immediately for the Colossi. Forget the range. He just wants the cool looking War of the Worlds type beast, while Cryptys is just scouting around the map, deciding not to do much just yet. And this is the point where the Protoss forces are very, very vulnerable compared to what the Terran army can muster. As soon as these medevacs are in play, the immobileness of the Protoss army is really taken advantage of very immediately. Very immediate. They could just do double pronged attacks, drop here with a single Protoss army. It's very hard for both sides, or for them to cover both angles of attack as well as covering this main front. So this is generally where Protoss players feel the weakest. Extended thermal lance being researched, immediately chrono boosted out. So this is where the Terran forces want to take advantage of immediately. Use that double pronged attack, use those doom drops, drop your opponent to death, especially with a Protoss army that has no blink play and mass or Colossi on the field. It looks like D&D already knows this, has stalkers placed around, so make sure no drops do occur, but there's still a wide area here for attack. So D&D knows this. He's just going to go ahead and place his stalkers here at the extreme edges of the map, and already looks like we're going to see an interesting play. The force fields are going to come down, cut this army in half. Great attack by D&D. I don't think he lost a single unit in that exchange, maybe a zealot or two, but really the forced his opponent to just full on retreat, and that's not where you want to be as a Terran player. This factory is going to go down very, very quickly. And, well, maybe not so quick. Maybe it's just going to go ahead and have free range out to go around wherever it so chooses, and really have fun. Third command center being put down, and here come the drops. This is where you want to really take advantage as a Terran player, around the 8-9 minute mark, the soonest you could get out your medevacs, and really about the 13-14 minute mark before your Protoss player can get up that 3, 4, 5 Colossi unit, the High Templar that he really needs. Double Forge coming out of D&D, so maybe, just maybe, as long as there isn't some heavy double engineering bay going down from him. Yeah, double engineering back going down by Cryptys. Already on the +1 attack drop. There it is behind that shrubbery, and this is exactly what I was talking about earlier. That Forge will definitely go down. These zealots will go down as well. Single zealot actually goes down. That Colossi there with his extended thermal lance does the damage, and I'm not sure I agree with Cryptys' decision to bring down that Forge. I would have focused down to that robotics facility immediately instead of that Forge, especially with that double Forge going up in arms for the Protoss player. And he's going to go ahead and drop these Marauders, and 3 Stalkers are going to go ahead and push forward and meet their deaths immediately. Looks like 1 Stalker goes down, 2 go down, and a 3rd is going to be attacked as well. And here it comes, the focus fire on that robotics facility. It will finally go down. That Colossi will never show its face on the battlefield, and now D&D is going to go ahead and finally chase away these medevacs and head on home. So small victory there wherever so it chose. And look at this, D&D decides to take a 3rd base as well, as his opponent is floating his own orbital command over into the third area, and it looks like he's going to go ahead and take this one as well. So both players know this map, know generally where you should expand and when you should expand, since both players are doing it at generally around the same time. Looks like charge is already done for these zealots, and this factory is still here. Another forge up there to replace the one that was down in this, and another robotics facility there being built, warped in. I'm just laughing because this factory could have been dropped down and a Hellion could have just started harassing this mineral line if Cryptys really decided to. The food count definitely favors him, but given the heavy cost nature of the... There's a single Reaver there, not sure exactly what that's doing there. Maybe he could split off and do some sort of damage to his Protoss opponent, but it looks like these Vikings are going to go ahead and push forward. They're going to see not many Stalkers. They're going to go ahead and give chase to the Colossi. One goes down, so free Colossi. No Vikings down just yet. Huge drop going to go down again. That forge is down. That second forge is down. Looks like the assemblers are being targeted. It will go down. The second one might go down as well, but there is another attack that's going to go ahead and go on. And this is exactly what I was talking about. Double pronged attacks. Next side go down. No 3 bases. Cryptys decides to actually lives to fight another day. The Protoss player xDnD doesn't know exactly where to engage. He leaves a drop living in his main base and decides to go ahead and try to reinforce the third, but it is down, it is done, and this factory could still drop down and make some Hellions, make some noise, do something. Charge loss hard on the field of play finally for xDnD, but now he is kind of backed up in a little bit of a corner. Cryptys has his third, he has it up and running. Looks like the main base is almost mined out for xDnD as well as the natural, so pretty soon he will only have a third base being able to mine, and Cryptys is again mined out, almost mined out of his main, almost out of his natural expansion, but his third is really unopposed, and xDnD is really feeling the pressure. He's going to take a fourth before this third is even halfway done. And if I were Cryptys, just continue those drops, continue dropping here, lifting, dropping, poking, prodding, doing what you can, dropping this factory, making some Hellions, doing whatever you can, because if you allow the Protoss player to stabilize, to bring up his High Templar with those psionic storms, you will be in a world of hurt. Single Zealot gonna go ahead and churn and slice and dice that poor Marine. Looks like Cryptys does know that it's there, so he will be able to handle it, but this is what you don't want. Never want as a player to have an immobile army, or an army that isn't doing anything, scouting around the map, taking out pylons here and there, dropping, especially when you are a Terran army, when the entire focus of your army is to be mobile. Use it. Use that to your advantage, while especially because since you force your opponent to be back at home and play on the defensive. Looks like Psionic Storm almost done. Immortals are going to go ahead and go on the field. Looking at the army supply tab, we see 123 for Cryptys, 107 for xDnD. A little bit of a supply blockage there, and here it comes. The Vikings are going to go ahead and float slowly forward, and finally these armies are on just move command while Cryptys decides to focus down the rocks, and finally free High Templar, free units. xDnD saw that, GG'd, knew that his entire army was out of position, and just decided to GG, especially with that drop at his natural expansion. So what a mistake by xDnD. Well, a mistake by both players, since Cryptys didn't see the army just meandering by. But that's the way StarCraft goes. You lose focus for 1 second, and you're forced to GG. So that was it for this game. I hope you guys enjoyed. If not, leave comments down below on what I could do to make these more enjoyable for you. If you guys have one of your own games you'd like for me to cast, feel free to upload them to one of the major replay sites. Drop.sc is very, very popular. And for all you guys watching out there in that Barcraft on the East Coast, hope you guys are having a good time. Drink an extra one for me, and I will hopefully see you guys next time.